Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of Trenny and C. I'm Trenny. This is C. Today we have the Two Brewers little mini pack lineup brought to you by, well, Two Brewers. But we should probably promote them first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we started off, we did a previous video reviewing the Release 26, which sneak preview was delicious. And we are going to move on to the Release 27.
We'll just craftily remove our Trenny and C challenge coins.
So we do spin it and then drop it on the floor. Perfect.
Yeah.
Why don't you, while I'm pouring this, why don't you bore with some details.
Oh, where'd it go? Oh, it's in my front pocket.
Smarty pants.
Okay, so they sent us a couple little flyers indicating what's happening.
They knew we wouldn't do the research, so they sent it to us.
So Yukon Single Malt, a Canadian whiskey. Again, this is another version of Canadian whiskey doing things right.
Gone right.
Two Brewers
Canadian whiskey gone right.
Two Brewers captures the core of beer's malt character builders. A dense and complex spirit with distinctive barrel aging, tempting and engaging. Two Brewers winners of the 2021 Best Single Malt Whiskey in the Canadian Whiskey Awards. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
This is release 27. It's in the... They kind of name things based on what they're trying to accomplish. Like this one's considered innovative.
Yeah, they pretty much have like the classic, the innovative, and then the special finishes.
Right.
I think they mostly stick within those three like realms.
Yes. So this is 1,080 bottles that were made August 2021. I'm assuming is when they're bottled.
Released.
Or released. 46%, 750 bottles. We could use some of those.
That's the
milliliter bottles, I should say.
Yeah.
We could use some of those. Deep malt aromas rise as misty wafts, quelling the taunting spirit. The cereal weight is evident, rich as buckwheat honey, nuts and nougat engage the palate. Oak and smoke remnants from the peated barrels. Oh, peated barrels. Brace the continuing...
Up until then, I didn't understand anything you said. So.
Barrels brace the continuing composition, absorbing for the attentive listener.
It's very confusing.
You know what? Like I'm gonna say some of the stuff written on these it's a little hard to follow.
Well, what it is that it's beyond us.
Well, yeah,
we are two simpletons.
Yes, exactly.
Two simpletons cannot begin to understand the complexities of a whiskey such as this.
But if you listen closely,
my first note.
That was on there. Okay, this kind of goes along the lines of what the previous release was with those kind of sweeter bubblegum kind of things, but it just seems a little bit more dense and maybe a little bit of a banana kind of...
So there's a little bit more like, there's like a green fruit, like...
it's like a papaya kind of...
I was going to say like a green melon, maybe some citrus.
Melon, like the honeydew. There's a bit of honeydew in there. Yeah, but also like the sugars are kind of verging on that kind of like brown sugar kind of style. It's interesting.
I was just thinking like when you said honeydew, I was like, my mom used to always buy the honeydew and then the one that was orange inside, but it couldn't remember.
The crappier one.
Cantaloupe.
Yeah. The bad one and the good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice nose. There actually is a little waft of smoke in there too. And there's also a little bit of that kind of like, I want to say almost like bourbon barrel style, like gluey notes to it too.
Yeah, and I was going to say just like generally like a scotchiness to it a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, like the peat, the smoke is there. It
I don't get smoke on my nose, but I get a scotchiness. Like I guess the maltiness.
I feel like I'm getting like a bit of a... Yeah, it could just be like that kind of sugar thing. I don't know.
There's some... I know what you mean. Okay, I know what you mean.
I think it might be on the palate. Let's try it.
No, but I know what you mean. Like, there's this... It's maybe like a mineral earthiness or something.
Yeah.
Like that... It's reminiscent of peat, but it's not straight up smoky.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Let's flavor it.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. This one is, they call this one innovative. I agree. This is like somewhat peculiar.
It has a lot of notes going on at once. Like,
Yeah,
it does have
yeah,
a bit of a
okay.
peak note thing
That's
going
a good-
on, right?
It's as confusing as the write-up.
But it's good.
Like, yeah, in a good way. I love whiskey that you can't compartmentalize into like some kind of simple folio of like it's bourbony,
Yeah.
it's scotchy,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's peaty, or it's this. Like this is like the definition of complex.
Well, it also kind of like, to me, it's like it re-establishes a new compartment. You know, it's like start a new file on this guy or whatever.
Because it's like
very different.
it's got these like, okay, now to your point, you were saying smoky.
That's a
There
bit of
is
that.
something
Yep.
peaty and smoky or charry maybe even
Yeah.
on the palate, but then it's like fruity. It's kind of single malty, but it's kind of
You know what? Actually,
not like.
you know what it kind of actually tastes like to me a
Similar.
little bit too, and they mentioned it in there, but it's like those Charleston Chews like nougat, and they did say nougat, but it kind of has a little bit of that. Like it's a bit of a chewer.
When I think nougat, I think Snickers,
Mm-hmm.
but then I also think that like the core that like
Like in a Mars
core
bar.
of the O. Henry,
Well,
or is that just
that's
caramel?
just like caramel, but like the inside of a Mars bar is nougat.
Yeah, that the whole thing is nougat,
Yeah.
and it's got a little
Caramel
caramel
topping,
on
yeah.
top.
But like the Charleston Chew, where you like bite it and it stretches out as you're biting it.
Yeah, but
Kinda has a
that's
bit
like
of that.
a Neapolitan ice cream chocolate
Yeah.
bar or something.
Yes. It has a bit of that in this.
Okay. Well, it is okay. Neapolitan almost makes sense.
Because it has like these vanillas, it has a bit
Chocolates
of
and
chocolate,
the fruitiness. Like,
and the fruity kind of nougaty kind of.
wow,
vibe to it.
we've never said Neapolitan as a tasting note.
Um,
Innovative indeed.
very interesting stuff. Like I think this is again a good example of Canadian whiskey experimenting. They're not just staying in one bracket of
They're not
flavors,
staying in their
you know?
lane.
Yeah, they're
And I would say, don't stay in your lane.
Sure.
But the thing about it is like, I think what I would need to understand this one completely would be to spend time drinking the whole bottle.
a bigger bottle. Yeah.
I'm gonna drink this tonight, and I'm gonna feel a certain way, and I've already
drunk.
the certain way I've felt has kind of like changed within a couple sips.
Mm-hmm.
I would need to spend days, weeks, and perhaps months to understand this one.
Yeah, it is different. It's like the difference between a pop song on the radio that you're singing the chorus the first time you hear it
Right.
versus like I don't know.
Oh no, it's versus like the 8th song on the album that you slowly
Yeah, it's like a
understand,
slow burn.
and then all of a sudden you're like,
and there's
oh,
nuances
shit.
to
Yeah,
it,
and you're
it's
like
yes.
and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden that's your song, and
Yeah.
then you start telling people about it, and they're like, oh, I never knew, and then they kind of everyone
Yes.
starts getting into it. That's this one.
This is the 8th song on the album. Okay,
The secret hit.
the one the guitarist wrote or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
The drummer sang it.
But very cool. Two Brewers, they also make their beer. So it's kind of like
Yep.
the combo pack, which is really,
Yep.
really a good idea. I just want to tell everyone who this is brought to you by tonight.
Sure.
This is brought to you by Shiba Coin. Go out and get some Shiba Coin in your wallet. Okay, thank
Cheers.
you for joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers, click like, subscribe, tell a friend.
We're heavily invested in Shiba Coin.
Yes, we have 17 million.